Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again to our Habitat for Humanity Blitz Build. This time we're working on interior finishes. Bob Ryley gets together with Steve Yates in the kitchen where we're installing a Pergo laminate floor. We'll see how the individual planks are sealed together to form a single piece. We'll also take you to the factory where they make Pergo. Then Ryley works on a built-in shelf system for the loft area. So stick around. It's great to have you home again.
Sears presents Bob Vila's Home Again.
We're reaching the end of real-time day 3 at our Yonkers, New York Habitat for Humanity Blitz Build. The interior of the house is really coming together. The paint crew is at work in the bedrooms. The electricians are installing light fixtures. In the kitchen, the carpenters are working on the base cabinets, and in the master bath, installers are finishing the Corian tub surround. Now let's join Ryley in the kitchen dining area where the floor installation is underway.
Well, here we are in the kitchen putting down the finished floors, and in the bathroom we have Ronald putting down the vinyl sheet goods from Mannington, and I have with us here Steve Yates from Pergo Flooring.
Hi, Ryley.
Hi, how you doing?
Very well.
Well, the first question I have for you, Steve, is just what is Pergo?
Pergo is a high-pressure laminate flooring. It looks a lot like wood, but it's not. It's much more durable than wood. It's made with 3 layers, top laminate, a core, and a balanced backing.
Yeah.
And it's basically sandwiched together with high heat and pressure.
Okay. So now, in our situation here that we're looking at, we have a vinyl going against a Pergo flooring. How do you get those two to come together?
Whenever you're installing Pergo flooring, you're always butting it up to another type of flooring, whether it be vinyl, tile, or carpet.
Right.
We've made a transition piece for each of those situations. In this situation, we have vinyl.
Okay, so I have a mock-up here of it, and this is the track that you put down first?
That's correct.
Okay, and then this is, what do you call this on this?
This is a transition reducer.
Okay, and so I guess what we're looking at is on this side here, you'd have the vinyl.
That's correct. You butt the vinyl right up to the track.
Okay.
The transition piece snaps into place
Right.
in the track, and the Pergo butts up right against that, and the transition laps over the Pergo.
Wow, that's pretty nice. Well, can we watch you do it?
Absolutely. Here we're going to cut the vinyl, and it's going to butt right up against the track. The track we've screwed into the subfloor, and it
Okay.
screws right down in, over the underlayment into the subfloor, and the vinyl butts right up against it. And the Pergo comes right up against the track, leaving a 1/4-inch expansion space.
Right, I noticed that it's not a really tight joint up there.
Right, Pergo is 90% wood, so it expands and contracts with heat and moisture.
So you don't want a tight joint there.
Right, around all obstructions you want to leave a 1/4-inch gap.
Okay, and so when he's done with that, then the next thing you would do is...
We've undercut the jambs here.
You have, okay,
Yes.
meaning...
We've undercut the jambs. We're going to place the transition piece underneath the jambs, and the Pergo also goes underneath the molding of the jambs.
Oh, okay.
As I said, there's just a piece underneath of the transition, and it snaps right into place, right over the top of the track.
Well, that looks good. Now, could you show me, how do you put down the rest of the floor?
Okay. We have Chris and Laura over here, who are just starting the first couple rows of the Pergo. And as you can see, we have Pergo Whisper Walk, which is the underlayment underneath the floor.
That's these squares here?
That's correct. They're acoustical squares that give the sound some depth, give the Pergo some depth.
Okay.
Pergo is a floating floor.
Meaning, what's a floating floor?
It actually floats over the subfloor. It's not actually glued to the subfloor. Each of the Pergo planks are glued together. They're a tongue and groove design.
So does that mean that the kitchen has got to be in before you can put this material down?
Exactly. The cabinets have to go in, and it allows the floor to float.
Okay.
Allows it to expand and contract.
And that's what you want.
Exactly. The reason why the floating floors become so popular is people are doing a lot of renovation instead of moving into new homes.
Right.
And this floor allows you to go right over any existing floor that you have, whether it be vinyl or tile.
And the idea is to just put the adhesives on the tongue and the groove, and you don't adhere it to the floor itself.
Exactly. You take the Pergo glue and you put it in the groove and you strap the planks together. As you can see, Chris here is using the straps to strap each plank together, and you can see a nice line of glue coming up. That means you have a nice seal from plank to plank.
Yeah.
And that's very important in this type of installation. The glue actually makes a mechanical bond between plank to plank.
It does.
Yes. So the whole floor becomes one piece.
Now, since we're putting this down in the kitchen, should we be concerned at all that it's in the portion of the house that's really going to be getting a lot of abuse spills and
Yeah, actually,
that sort of thing?
Pergo is a very durable floor. It's very moisture resistant. It actually comes with a 15-year triple warranty.
It does.
It doesn't stain, it doesn't fade, and it doesn't wear for 15 years.
And how does it stand up cost-wise if I were to we were going to put in conventional wood floors, say?
It's generally a little less than hardwood.
It is?
Yes.
Very good. Well, maybe we should get out of their way so these guys can hurry up and finish up.
All right, thanks, Riley.
Okay.
Coming up next, a tour of the factory where they make Pergo flooring. Stick around. Well, I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina with Lars Van Kanso, who's president of Perstop Flooring. And tell us a little bit about Perstop, the company, how it originated.
Well, it's a Swedish company that was founded in 1881 and founded by a family of German immigrants who started developing different specialty chemicals, and very quickly in 1923 got into decorative laminates, which is wood-based laminates for a variety of decorative finishes such as countertops and elevator interiors and what have you. And over the years we tried to develop the product, get into different applications. And in 1977 somebody had the bright idea of basically having taking the countertop and put it on the floor. And most people laughed in the company and said that can't be done, it's too difficult, too complicated, you can't walk on a countertop, right?
Right, but basically they've proven that it's possible.
Basically it was possible.
And the globalization aspect of the story goes all the way back to German immigrants coming to Sweden.
That's right.
And now, of course, the company's manufacturing here in North Carolina. And now you're starting to develop product that isn't just wood grain, but also other finishes, right?
Yeah, stone finishes and other finishes that, you know, consumers seem to like also.
Okay, now I know you've got to go on to a meeting, but you've got me set up with somebody to get the plant tour, right?
That's right. We have Mike Auer here, who's the head of maintenance, who's going to take on a tour on the plant.
Terrific. Thanks, Lars.
Thanks.
Mike, how big is this plant?
Just a little over 110,000 square foot.
It's enormous, and it's clean and quiet. And
thank
here
you very
we've got
much.
some of our laminate,
This
right?
is a laminate, comes from Perstorp in Sweden,
Yeah.
one of our other divisions. And what you have is a 1/2 millimeter thick piece of laminate, a digital photograph of the wood that we're doing, which today is oak plank. On top of that, we've got 5 layers of melamine to give us the scratch resistance.
So it's not wood, it's a digital photograph of wood.
Right, with a laminate coating on top.
And then this is the core material.
This is our core material. What we have here is a very special recipe. We've got a very small, tight particulate with an awful lot of resin in it. And that gives us a good integrity for our tongue and groove so it won't fall apart anytime during its life.
What sort of wood is used?
If we have material shipped to us from Scandinavia, the bulk of it is spruce. If it's supplied here in the U.S., the bulk of it is pine.
So this really is an example of globalization. When you've got raw material from Scandinavia arriving here in America, the port of Norfolk, Virginia or someplace?
Exactly.
And then being manufactured here. And of course, everything seems to be robotic.
Yes, the entire plant is automated. What we have is carts that are run by their own small computers called PLCs, and each one of our process lines are also computer controlled. They're able to communicate with each other, process the material through the lines, and that allows the operators to then focus on the quality. They're not managing the machine, they're able to manage the raw materials, make sure that the finished product is the highest quality we can make it.
Terrific. Let's see where the bonding takes place.
Okay, right down this way.
Well, you know, I've been in a lot of plants where the gluing operation is the messiest stage of all. What's happening here?
The first stage here, Bob, is we have a pre-hardener machine that applies the pre-hardener resin both top and bottom of the board. That allows our glue process to be speeded up. Once the board comes through a set of pre-hardener rollers, we check it with an ultraviolet light to make sure that you're getting a good even dose on the board, both top and bottom. Make sure we have no dry spots, no puddles, everything's nice and even.
So that's a visual inspection then.
Exactly.
And then what's the next step?
The next step, we have a set of glue rollers that applies the actual glue both top and bottom to the board. We pick up a sheet of laminate and bring it over and set it down on top of a finished board. So here we have our board with the glue on it and the laminate being placed on it.
So in the next station, there's glue on the bottom of the board, and you're putting, oh, I see. Okay,
exactly.
this,
We've
the
got our
green
backing
backer,
paper
this
here.
stuff here.
Exactly. What that allows us to do is to have all four components together at this point. We've got the backing paper, the core material, the glue, and the laminate. They're ready to go into our press. At that point, they'll spend a minute or less in there at several hundred degrees. The pressure and the heat together set up that glue very quickly for us.
Now, what kind of glue is it that you're using?
It's a UF resin glue.
And what you've basically created at this point is almost like a 4x8 sheet of paneling, but we're making flooring here.
Exactly.
So what happens next?
At that point, we send it through a conveyor system automatically over to one of our milling lines. The milling line will take that 4x8 sheet that we made and rip it in half at the first station.
There are two 4x4 sheets.
Right. From there, we run it into a strip saw that rips it down into 6 Pergo plank size boards, approximately 4 foot long, 8 inches wide.
But then you're still not finished because you got to add the tongue and groove to all of it, right?
Right. The next station, we cut the tongue and groove in the long side of the board through a molder. After that, we send it into a double end tensioner, which cuts the short end of the board. From that point, the good boards are sent off to our packaging station. The rejected boards are automatically rejected off the line, and the operators remove them at that point.
Can the rejected boards be recycled into the operation?
No, we don't.
They're garbage.
Once they're rejected, we send them out.
All right, now, Mike, it looks like at the end of the trail here, there's a camera looking at each and every one of these boards, right?
What we're doing is passing the board in front of a camera where it's measured 2,000 times.
2,000?
Right, 2,000 times. In that, we can get a good verification to make sure that both the tongue and groove are exactly right.
And that's critical, because this is a do-it-yourself product, and if the tongue and groove aren't fitting uniformly all the time, you're not going to have success.
And if planks from one line and another line don't match up, we have a similar problem.
So what's the computer screen show you here?
It gives us a dimensional readout of A, B, and C for both the tongue and groove to tell us the size and shape to make sure it's within specifications.
So packaging is something that's uniquely designed for this product, right?
It was custom built for us. What we do is take 8 planks, stack them up, and then we have a very simple robot arm to wrap the edge banding around the package, cut it, and seal it.
And yet this is very finely and precision engineered to do this, right?
It's some high-quality German equipment. There are literally thousands of sensors throughout the system that keep track of the position of not only the planks, but the packages, so that each step.
Now, what are these two things doing?
This is telling you that the package is in place, and this is a package that the package is left, and we're ready for another one.
So they're photo eyes.
Exactly, and everything has to work in sequence or we'd have a crash.
Right. And then what's happening here? You just, are you gluing on these labels?
No, these are being dropped into the package. This is our instruction sheet that we automatically place in a package that's produced in several languages on one sheet, so the do-it-yourselfer, no matter where he is in the world, has the proper instructions.
Excellent. Now what happens here?
Here we wrap it in the shrink wrap plastic, send it through an oven, and it's automatically placed on a pallet.
And then from here, it goes out to the distribution center.
Right.
Mike, thanks for the tour.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
Next, Ryley installs a built-in shelf system in the loft area. Don't go away. We're back in Yonkers, New York, and Ryley is ready to install some built-in cabinets.
Okay, we're on the second floor of our loft area with our architect, Ed Binkley.
Hello, Bob.
Hi, Ed. When you designed this cabinet here that you had me build, what did you actually have in mind for its use up here?
My initial thought is that it would be used for linen storage to serve the master bath upstairs.
Right.
And also for additional storage for the 2 girls.
That's great.
These bedrooms are directly across.
Yeah, it works great for that. But I have to ask you, when I saw the blueprints and the design for the cabinet, I couldn't help but notice that it was out of square. I didn't mention anything then, but now that
Right.
I've got you here, why did you do that?
A couple of things. Really didn't want this to feel like a hallway. It's at the top of the stairs. It overlooks the stairwell.
Right.
And it felt like it created a nice entry into the study loft area, which is immediately to the right.
Yes.
It opens that up very nicely. And it's also kind of a playful feature that goes along well with the vaulted ceiling and the windows and all of the natural light coming in.
Yeah.
Really creates kind of a nice space.
It makes a great area, yes it does. I also have to ask you, the detail that you did here was so simplistic. I loved it, the fact that when we got down into here, there was no datering going on, everything was butted together. We used a simple 3/4 inch veneer, oak plywood, and then faced it off with some oak. And it was really a simple thing to put together.
There's a good reason for that. I looked at this as if it was something I could do or someone like me in my workshop in the garage.
Yeah, well that's great. I think it's terrific. So now that we've got it into place, I'm all set to screw it into the wall.
Very good. You've done a great job on it.
Okay, thanks.
I'll leave you to get on with your work.
Thank you, Ed. Now that I have the back attached, I'm ready to put the top on. Okay, and I'm just going to pin the top to the cabinet. Some 1.5 brads. Okay, now we're ready for backsplash. Now that the top is in place, I'm ready to apply the backsplash. I've already cut it so I know it's going to fit in here. I just want to be sure to hold it tight to the countertop. I'm going to pin it into place with 1.5 inch brads. Now we'll apply the side splash. Okay, well that's it for the backsplash. Now we're ready for our oak caps. And what we have here is, this is solid oak. It's called 5/4 stock, which means it dresses out to 1 inch thickness. And we want to use solid stock here rather than veneer because we don't want it delaminating or anything like that. And this is our last piece, right in here. We'll pin that in. Okay, with that in place, it's ready for a finish.
We'll be back in a moment with a preview of our next show. Well, that's a wrap for today. Come home again next time when we'll be working on the kitchen for our house in Yonkers, New York. We'll show you how the structural insulated panels really simplify the job of hanging our Aristocraft kitchen cabinets. Riley will be on board to install our Corian countertops, and I'll be getting together with Ren Anderson to talk about our Energy Star kitchen appliances. And we'll also take a look at the heating system. I'll take you to the Buderus plant in Wetzlar, Germany, where they make the tanks for our energy-efficient boiler. Till then, I'm Bob Vila. It's good to have you home again. For lots of information and resources for your home improvement project, check out my website at bobvila.com.